With Curtis ready, and Curtis is ready, we'll call our meeting to order. Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda? If not, we'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Have motion support, last chance for comments or questions. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. We have an agenda. Roll. Is it completed? We're done. Thank you. Next, we do the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone please rise and join us for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Now, we will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the July 23rd, 2024 regular meeting and the closed session.
Move to approve.
Support.
Motion support. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. The motion is carried. Moving on to E, request for purchase. We are to consider a resolution to approve the request for purchase from Medler Electric in the amount of $15,527.32 for 40 new LED drivers for downtown post top lights.
Move to approve.
Your pleasure. We have a motion.
Support.
And we have support. Comments or questions?
These are the lights on the corners, the black lights, so those will be all replaced out. Those, believe it or not, it's been 2008 since those have been out, and the LED engines need to be replaced, so.
Not they lasted forever.
Yeah, 10 years,
Yeah, well.
typically 10 years for guarantees anyway.
And you said they're up since 2008, so we've got a little better than 10 years out of them. My only question is, we only got one bid. Why aren't we getting more bids for something like $15,000? It seems like gotta have a couple prices.
I'm sure we've used this company before.
It's-
Well, yeah, not that, Medler's a great local company and everything, just seems like there should be more than one bid.
If you want to table that until next month, I can, or I'm sorry, to the next meeting, we can reach out to like Standard or anybody else too to
I don't
bring you
personally
a
need
second or
one.
third one, so
Okay.
whichever you would prefer. That's fine.
Well, we have a motion on the table. Anybody care to change your motion? Michelle, you made the motion, I think.
No, I'm good.
Okay. With that, all those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. And that would be a no.
No.
We got two no's? Was it?
No.
We have three no's then. Okay. So the motion was tied then, because Rox isn't here, so.
I'd like to see another bid. More bids. That's a pretty high
it's
number.
it's
to only go
$15,000 is a lot of money.
So the motion does fail then for, okay?
Yep, we'll get you another one for the next meeting.
Okay.
At least one more.
Sure,
And maybe
sure.
one more.
Yeah, just something.
I appreciate it. And I get nothing against Medlers, it's just, I think standard practice ought to be when you're spending, over 10,000 or whatever, you ought to have more than one. Okay, moving on down to resolutions. We are to consider a resolution ratifying the investment of the following city funds, and we have two before us, one treasury bill, one CD. Your pleasure.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Motion support. Are there any comments or questions?
Nope, just still some decent rates, so
While they last.
ride the last.
Get them while they last. Yeah.
While they last, yeah.
Okay, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Number two, consideration of a resolution to approve a request from the Alma Parks and Recreation Program to have a live band with amplified music at Wright Park Tracy Band Shell on September 10th, 2024 from 6 to 7 p.m. as part of Hope in the Park, which is co-hosted with Gratiot Integrated Health Network and Child Advocacy. Your pleasure.
Move to adopt.
Support. Motion support. Got any background on this? Okay.
It's a day of Public Family Day to promote mental health awareness and suicide prevention resources, and with a live band and some other activities there besides, just the awareness of mental health. So Morgan's been doing a heck of a job, and this is, reaching out and working with some other nonprofits in the community. So.
Okay. It says the band is from 6 to 7, but I assume that there's other activities
Yes.
prior to this,
Yes.
and that's kind of the closing ceremony?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And we'll probably see more information coming
Coming
out.
out, yes, I will.
Okay. Anybody else, comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. The motion is carried. Thank you. Number 3, consideration of a resolution to approve a request from Nativity of the Lord, which is also known as St. Mary's, to close Amy Street between the Prospect Avenue and Park Avenue to host a fall picnic on Saturday, September 28th, and to use the closure to set up a tent and food trucks during the event, and to work with city staff on the final logistics of that event. Your pleasure.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Motion support.
Just to
Comments?
get this to Fall Fest they'd like to do, and the public will be welcome to take part. And staff will work with them on, some final, like setting up the tent and where the food trucks go and such, but we need permission from the commission to close the street.
Okay. Comments or questions? I guess the only thing that comes to my mind is setting up a tent in the street there. They're going to drive those stakes
Nope.
in the ground?
We do not allow the streets. They have to either use
they're gonna
concrete
use the concrete?
or water,
Okay.
the water jugs. They have to, we do not allow
Okay.
stakes to go on the street.
Would it be better? Did they consider the grassland?
We gave them that option.
Okay.
That option.
And they
We've given
prefer
that-
this.
Yep,
Okay.
we've given that option.
All right. That's my questions. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. The motion is carried. Number 4, consideration of a resolution to approve a request from Pine Knot Bar to host a live band in their rear parking lot from 8:30 to 11:30 p.m. on Friday, August 23, 2024, which is pursuant to ordinance number 605, which allows the commission to approve a variance to the noise ordinance. Your pleasure.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Motion support.
This is the, I believe, third time they're doing this, and this is a little short. I think they went into midnight before, so 11:30. We haven't had any complaints, and nothing from the police department side either, so it's been working out well.
Okay. This is the third year, you said?
Third time they've done
Third
this.
time.
This will be the third time they've done this.
Anybody else? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. The motion is carried. Number 5, consideration of a resolution establishing authorized signatories for the MERS contract and service credit purchase approvals.
Move to adopt. Support.
A motion support.
This will allow for city manager, finance director, and human resources to sign documents as needed from MERS.
Okay. Last chance for questions. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you. Moving to agreements. First up, we are to consider a resolution authorizing the execution of an engagement letter between the City of Alma and Yo and Yo CPAs and Business Consultants for the purpose of conducting the annual year-end financial statement audit and required single audit for a total contract fee of $35,850, and to authorize the city manager to sign the engagement letter on behalf of the City of Alma. Your pleasure.
Move to approve.
Support.
Here we have motion support.
As it says in the...
Same firm?
Yep, same firm. As it says in the note, we're just under $30,000 for the audit purposes. And since we are spending more than $750,000 of federal funds, we need a single audit also. So that's $6,000 of that dollar amount.
Okay.
Okay. And this, we know last time we sent this out for bid, it's been a long time, I think, isn't it?
7, 8 years.
7 or 8 years? Okay. I'm good with that, I think, for another year or so.
This is a really good price
Yeah.
for the audit.
And it does get more expensive when you change auditors too, there's no
Yeah.
question about that. So, all those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Say no. Motion is carried. Number 2, consideration of a resolution authorizing the execution of an engagement letter between Alma Transit Center and Yo CPAs and Business Consultants for the purpose of conducting the annual year-end financial statement audit, and to authorize the city manager to sign the engagement letter on behalf of the Alma Transit Center.
Move approval. Support.
Got a motion support?
And
Anything else?
that's included underneath their $29,000, so I failed to mention that in the previous items.
Okay. And it has to be a separate engagement?
Yes,
Just for,
the state of
MDOT?
Michigan MDOT, yeah.
okay. All right, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Welcome, Roxanne.
Sorry, I'm late.
You are forgiven.
I appreciate it.
But we know you're busy.
Just put your dollar in the jar.
That's a pretty good deal. Okay, moving under agreements, item number 3. We are to consider a resolution to approve a change order for wastewater sludge removal contract, which is purchase order number 24-1586, which was approved on February 13, 2024, to update the vendor from Michigan Agribusiness Solutions to Biotech Agronomics Incorporated, following Michigan Agribusiness Solutions sale of the company and transfer of all contracts to Biotech Agronomics Incorporated. Your pleasure. A mouthful.
Support.
We had a motion support.
Nothing changed with the cost of the contract. It's just a legit, a legal thing to have it in the right name when we write checks. They won't
change.
Yep.
Makes sense. Last chance for comments or questions. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed would be no. The motion is carried. Number 4, consideration of a resolution to adopt the Public Safety Director MERS DB Plan, Defined Benefit Plan Agreement.
Move to approve.
We have motion support, and maybe a little background for the cameras here.
This is an agreement we've been working on for a while here locally, inside staff, to put the Public Services Director position along in the same category as the police position. The police chief position, which is a non-unionized position. So this agreement takes care of that and moves the Public Safety Director in the proper benefit category.
You failed to mention this cleans up a problem that occurred, or a misallocation perhaps, or I guess maybe that's not even the right word, but an issue that going to be, 15 years ago?
Basically, yes.
It's been a long time, yeah.
Yes. So this cleans that all up.
I think everybody's aware of this, so are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Moving down to J, reports of officers, boards, and committees. Commissioners may receive the following reports by one resolution, or any commissioner may remove any item within the section for individual discussion and vote. Before us tonight, we have the July 16, 2024 Board of Review minutes, the Parks Committee, July 22, 2024 draft meeting minutes, the Alma District Fire Board, July 24, 2024 draft meeting minutes, the Downtown Development Authority, July 24, 2024 draft meeting minutes, the Alma Transit July 2024 report, the Code Enforcement report, the Finance Department report for July of 2024, and the City Manager's report.
Move to receive 1 through 7.
Support.
Got a motion for 1 through 7. Any comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. That motion is carried.
Move to receive 8.
Support.
We have a motion support. Comments or questions? All those in favor? No, well, I guess you want to give your comments.
No, that's just very small. Did provide, and this is available for the general public as well. We had to do a water rate study as part of our drinking water SRF project. The study comes back, and we won't go into details. You can read it, but the short of it is that the rates that we have raised over the last 2 years for the RTS readiness to serve will cover our bond payments for the DWSRF funds, plus begin to set us up for savings to do capital improvements here in the future, because that's why we had to go after this DWSRF, and we were sweating getting it, because we did not have the funds to replace water mains and those sorts of things. So what we've set ourselves up for is some success in the coming years. So very good news in that report, so that's available for everyone to take a look at. Secondly, and probably the most important for tonight, just wanted to need your feedback. We provided a draft resolution to look at a water fee to be added onto water bills for those structures that the private property owners do not let us into. One, change out the galvanized lines that need to be replaced. There's been 122 or so that's been identified as part of the SRF fund. We have to get those taken care of here under the state timeline with the money that provided. And then also part of our SRF fund is the replacement of all the water meters and all the structures across the system. So we need the contractor. It won't be our people doing this, our staff doing this. Will be the contractors going in and replacing these items. They need access to get those things done. for lack of a better word, what do you do if they say, no, you can't come in, and then they say to you, what are you gonna do if I don't let you in? Well, we're not gonna force our way in or force, we're gonna rip out your water line and put the new one in. We'll just assess a fee if we do pass this resolution. We're not gonna do it tonight, just to get your feedback. That will assess a $100 fee until those, or both of those items are taken care of, so. It just-
$100 a month,
A
correct?
month.
Not
A
just
month.
a single.
No, a month.
A monthly
Yep,
fee.
A monthly fee, yep. And then $100 seems to be, I don't know if it's too much or not enough, but it will also cover, because after a certain time period, the contracts go away for both replacement of the galvanized service lines and the contractors that'll be coming in to replace the water meters. So once those folks are basically done with their project, and it'll be up to our staff to finish those up. So those funds would help offset our costs of bringing our staff in to do it later if we have to. We're hoping we don't have to implement this, but when we send out the letters working with the contractor, we want them to know that, hey, we really do need to get in there for good reasons, and we'll give them the good reasons. But also, if you don't, this is what happens if you don't let us. We're not gonna force our way in, but this is what happens if you don't let us in to get those two things done, or at least the water meters. Everyone gets a water meter change.
So far, it's been just by letter, you've been contacting everybody?
Yes, yep.
Because I know a lot of people tend to throw their mail out and don't read their letters, so what's the second attempt? Is it them coming to their door?
Yes, we will say when we're doing the investigations for the inspections of, do you have a Plex line or a plastic line, or do you have a galvanized line? When we're doing those, we did the letters, got those scheduled, went and took care of those inspections. But the folks who didn't respond to us, we were knocking on doors, doing door hangers. Because according to the state of Michigan, the ones that we did our random sample with, we had to use those folks from the random sample. So we had to do take every possible step to make sure we got in to at least inspect those lines in those houses that we randomly selected. This would be the same kind of thing. We'd reach out to them. Again, we've already sent out a couple letters in varying words to kind of, because sometimes some folks are more motivated by different things than others. But we would like to have this on the agenda for the next meeting for approval. So when we add the letter, it'll be a positive letter. Hey, we've received this money. We're gonna do some upgrades. We're gonna take care of your galvanized line that is not safe for you or your family to be using, and get that replaced for you. It's being done by a private contractor, so it's someone that's certified to do these sorts of things, and it'll be quick. It's not going to be anything that takes a long time to do. They'll be done. The water meters, they're looking to be done here before the first of the year if they get started here in September. So it'll be a quick process to get this all done. So don't want to assess it because no one likes to pay fees, but I think this is the cleanest way to do it, because we're not going to force our way into someone's structure.
It has to be done.
Yeah, it has to be done.
And I think 100 is reasonable, 100 a month.
Yep. And we don't have to, if they let us in, we get it done. We don't have to apply that to their bill anymore.
My only question would be, after a few months, should you escalate that and double it? If somebody's really non-responsive?
Well, I mean, $100 is, it's quite steep.
It seems like it should motivate it.
Yeah, it's $1,200 a year.
But then what's the cost to us if they don't and we have to go back later? Are we gonna be able to do it as inexpensively as we can do it in the first place?
No.
That's-
It will not
that's
be
the
as
danger.
inexpensive, because right now we have the overall contract with
Right,
a third
and you got
party.
a bulk contract of a large number, so you're getting a good price on it.
It would be our folks,
Yeah.
our crews going in, like say there's 50 that don't let us in. At some point over a year or 2 years, our crew would be going in and changing out those 50. You would hope that the extra 100, per month would help offset those costs of our staff going in and doing that. We're hoping it's enough, but we don't want to go too far either to make it sound like we're
But maybe Greg is right, if after a year that's still not doing it, maybe it should be what that cost would be to us if we have to do it.
We could bring the resolution back to the board after a
Okay.
year and you could revisit it at that point. If, you know, we could get, actually at that point, we would know the numbers of who still needs to be replaced. And you can discuss it and make a recommendation.
And you think people that don't let the other people in are gonna let our people in? I mean, what's the,
I would think
It's
that'd
just-
be even worse. you
It
know?
just, it's just a hundred, then you just keep charging $100 and then if you want to revisit it in a year, then
But
you,
eventually, I mean, we're mandated by the state to do that. If we don't do it, I believe at some point have to shut their water off, don't we? Because we're not allowed to serve them with
We-
truly galvanized pipe any longer.
well, I don't want to, yes, I don't want to get to that point. That's really
But
where.
I mean, that's what the state has told us, I believe. That's-
You get to that point where
right, so we're not doing this $100 a month infinitely. There has to be an end point.
if
right?
if it's a water meter, you don't have an unsafe drinking water situation. It's the water
Oh, for the
meter.
meter side.
The meter side of it.
But you might have an inaccurate meter that,
Yes, and you do. I mean, they guarantee them for basically 10 to 15 years, and our meters
a
are.
lot of them are 30 or 40 years old.
Exactly,
So-
yes, exactly. But
Okay.
we can start with this, and then, like I said, then we'll know the numbers here fairly soon. It won't be at the end of the year, we'll know what we have left, and then you could revisit it at some other point.
Yeah. The only thing that I like about putting an escalator in now after 6 months or something is that it gives people fair warning. It's just going to get worse if I don't cooperate now.
Right.
Rather than, wait 6 months and then come back and say, oh, we're now going to double it. So that was my
Yeah.
only reason for thinking maybe if you put an escalator in at this point, so.
And if we can eliminate our people doing it, then
Right.
Yeah.
hey, have it be the more upfront, and then I'd rather get it taken care of. So we don't have to do
It's
it.
much more efficient and cheaper. It's not cheap,
No,
but
but
it's more reasonable
expensive
to get it done now.
Comparatively.
Yeah.
And since we're
Okay,
mandated
well,
to
I
do
could-
it, I mean,
I kinda
Work
like
on
the
some
escalator.
language for
Yeah.
work with staff and then some escalating language and bring that to you, and you can take a look at that next
Okay.
meeting.
I would like to see what the cost is and say, hey, the cost is gonna be X amount of dollars. If the contractor says he's gonna be done in 6 months, what's that cost in 6 months? Because that's when we're gonna have to pay for it. So that's what that fee should have to cover, is our cost for those. We're offering a solution, and if they don't wanna take it, then quite frankly, they should have to pay for it.
Well, we're
Then
hoping,
There's also the opportunity cost. We got a staff doing that we now don't have doing
Doing other
whatever
things.
else, so somebody else.
Well,
And let's be true, honest, and when our staff is doing that, it's probably gonna be higher level staff that are trained in doing those things. So now, it's not like, the summer programs where we can have certain staff doing certain things that cost less. So it's just gonna escalate, so.
well, and what happens to us at some point? I mean, if we're mandated to do it, there's gonna be something that comes, I mean, I feel like we can't just let it go on.
Well,
No, and it's not about collecting this fine
No,
from anybody.
no, it's getting it
It's
done.
about getting it done,
Right.
yeah.
Because then won't that become something that we're not eligible for grants or things because we didn't fulfill?
well, we're trying to
that?
show that we're trying to take the next
No,
steps.
I
as we can to
understand.
show the state that we're
Yes,
trying to
no,
get
I
this
understand
done.
that, but there are going to be repercussions to us as a city,
It
not
could,
just
yeah.
to the
It could.
homeowner who's not letting us in, because I feel like if
Yeah,
somebody...
we're not a big enough city to be exempted from not
Right.
getting it done the way some
Right,
others
and if they're
may.
gonna say no to the group that's coming in, I suspect they're not going to be more inclined to let our staff in, and so I would kind of like to see like an end, like there's something, and I don't know if that's feasible or reasonable, but we can't just say, we're gonna charge $100 a month for 2 years, and then we're gonna figure out the cost. I mean, there has to be an end, I think, of some sort. if
Say
we
it's
don't.
$100 for 4 months, after that it's this for 4 months, and then,
But there still has to be,
Right, an end
besides the
date.
cost, there has to be something that expresses that this is happening, whether you're cooperative or not. We would love it for you to be cooperative and get it done when the people are here with the grant money and all that. I mean,
Well, I think ultimately, we just quit serving that
Yeah, the end would be
building. I
no
mean,
water.
it's-
Because that's what it comes down to.
Right,
It
and I know
becomes-
you don't want
becomes
to, I
uninhabitable if they
appreciate
don't
that
have
you're
water.
not starting out ornery, but I feel like maybe it needs to be stated that way, and if people are throwing it away and not reading it, well, tough pizzazz. You know, you are responsible, and so we're giving you this opportunity. We'll only charge you $100 a month for this amount of time, but then when this comes down, this is what's gonna happen. You've got 2 more months to allow our people in, otherwise we're shutting off your water. I mean, I don't agree with shutting off people's water, but if it's something that we are responsible for completing, I feel like we need to have more of a bubble around it.
Well, and the fear is if we don't, and we allow somebody to drink out of a
Right.
water that's, or a water line that's contaminated.
Correct.
It didn't end well for Flint.
Correct.
No, no, it did
So-
not.
Well, and that's why I just, and again, I don't have any
Yeah.
suggestions, but I would like something that's kind of a full circle of this, and this, and then this. I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, it's.
No, but I think
it's not
the
just us,
idea you
it's
just, what I just
I
heard
wanna
you say
close
is,
the loop on
let's
it.
have a plan that,
Right, and you get it out
we'll
there.
bring all the
right
steps right to
away.
the end.
Yes.
The final resolution is.
Because we
you
need
won't
to
get
know as
service.
well. There has to be
Yeah.
something that says that if we don't complete what has happened, I mean, I don't know, end up having to pay money back that we borrowed to do all the people that complied. I'm not sure what the ramifications are, but there's probably going to be something if we were given money to do a job and we don't see it through. So it's not to be nasty to people, but this is, like you said, you send a letter, you put a door tag on, you did the, you know, and that if you want to remind them that we've done this and
Nope, that's all good feedback, and we'll take that, like I said, we'll at least get some resolution around, like, a escalator type situation, and then we'll speak with the state
Right.
and the attorneys.
Yes, I, right. Yeah,
About
that's
what,
I'm
like,
not saying, you know, this is what we're going to do.
Well, when that
Right.
would happen.
But people tend to pay more
And then-
attention when you say your kid can't come to school if we haven't done these 3 things. So I feel like you put it on, I mean, they're going to notice the worst thing on it, and that will spur them on to call and find, you know, so it's,
And maybe when we send it out, just, I don't know, you probably already done this, but send them a letter again, just stating, you know, these are the grant funds that are being paid for, this is what the requirements are, and these are the consequences if you don't comply.
right.
I mean, we've already sent the letter, but
And ultimately, you know, this isn't costing the individual property owner any additional money. It's going to be,
Right.
their property is going to be improved,
Right.
and the city as a whole is paying for it. All of the ratepayers are paying for it. It's not an
I mean,
individual assessment.
I'd go as far as saying that instead of a monthly or you make them pay for the whole thing. We're gonna do it for free, basically. If you don't do it within this time period, now you have to pay for it, because that's what's gonna cost us.
I don't believe we're allowed to do that.
Well, you are in terms of a fine, whatever that
I
fine
guess I don't
is.
know.
I mean,
Eventually, the fine would pay for itself.
yeah, exactly. So what is that and what is that?
But I think the way.
The way the mandate is, because we can't charge
Yeah.
initially for, you know, we find a galvanized line, we can't say, okay, property owner A,
Yeah.
you've got this line, you've got to pay for replacement. It has to be charged to the city as a whole, according to the state rules. So I think if you tried to attach or base the fee or fine or whatever you want to call it on the cost of doing that service, I think you'd run into a problem legally because of the way the laws are written and the way the mandate is back to us to do it as a city rather than assessing the individual properties. Because in this case, the fine is for the behavior, not for the service. I think that's probably the difference.
So it's just an arbitrary 100, not an arbitrary
It's just a motivating number.
$1,556.35.
And hopefully we don't collect it, you know, I mean, everybody cooperates and it won't be an issue, so. Because I'm sure staff doesn't like knocking on people's doors and saying,
No, we don't want to bother
We gotta
anybody.
do
We
this.
want to be in,
Yeah.
and the contractors come in and.
Cost you nothing. Cost you
The
nothing.
water meter stuff will take like less than an hour for them to come in and do the water meter stuff. If you have a galvanized line, that might take a day or two, but they're in and they're out, and
well, I need some digging in your yard.
yeah, and that gets restored and stuff.
Yeah.
But one of the individuals I spoke to, it's like you can't look at it right now. It's just, you're going to sell this house at some point. You want to be able to show someone that you have a clean safe water line, plus it's a new one that you didn't have to pay.
Well, it's an improvement to the property.
It's very much so.
I mean,
'Cause it
a lot
can-
of us have paid to have that done.
It can cost you anywhere from $2,500 to $8,000 to $9,000 to replace a water line. So it's, yeah. Anyway, thank you
I'm all
for the
for it.
feedback. No, thank you for the feedback, and we'll
See what you come up with, and we'll argue again.
yeah. And just for information, I did include a white paper that was written by two of our Alma College students from the Environmental Sciences Department for your review. And our Alma Transit building expansion, it has been the A&E, which is the architect and engineering portion of it, has been approved at the federal level. We probably got another 2 weeks or so of final authorizations at the state, and then Progressive AE, who is going to be the architect and engineer on the project, and get started. And then we just provided some numbers. The reading program at the library just ended, and to give you some highlight numbers on that, they had another successful year at the library. So that is it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any more questions for Eric? Yeah? Okay. I believe we had a motion on the table, so all those in favor of receiving the city manager's report, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. And the motion is carried. We've received your reports. Moving on to appointments. We are to consider a resolution to appoint a city commission designee and alternate to attend the Michigan Municipal League Annual Convention and vote on behalf of the city of Alma at the annual meeting.
Move approval.
Support.
Are we supposed to be naming names
Yes,
here?
we'd like to name names.
Okay.
Who would be willing, is basically who would be willing to.
Hollow resolution right now.
Yeah, it'd be who would.
And
like
I
to-
know I've got other plans and I'll be out of town, so I can't attend.
What's the date?
September 12th, isn't it? 11th, 12th, and 13th, or somewhere, I believe.
I will not be able to attend.
If no one can, then it is, it is what it is.
And we can't designate somebody from
Days of the week.
the league to vote on our behalf or anything.
It's like,
Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
After 3
If I'd known earlier, I could have, but
I'm just getting back from vacation. I go on vacation the next week. I can't be there.
No, if we don't have anybody available, that's.
What happens if nobody's available?
then we don't vote.
Just don't vote.
Oh,
It's not, it's pretty.
critical, it's not critical.
Yeah.
I could look into it, but I couldn't commit right now.
Well, we could appoint you right now as a
You
designee.
can
And if you
decline.
don't go, we'll dock your pay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay, I heard a volunteer there.
Support.
Is it a good motion, or you?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to designate you.
So we did have a motion and support. Anybody else want to be an alternate? Michelle?
I can.
Just in case you have to be in?
no, I'm already gone 2 weeks out of September. I can't be gone further.
Okay. Well, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. That motion is carried, and carry forth on our behalf, please, Andrew. If you were able. Next, we are considering a resolution to appoint Mr. Timothy Rath to the Alma Planning Commission to fill a recently vacated seat with a term ending June 30, 2026.
Move to approve. Support.
A motion support. Anything?
Nope, we
had a
met
nice
with
interview?
Timothy, and
Yeah.
Timothy's here tonight, so I think he'd be a good addition to a very good planning commission, and I'm glad that Timothy said yes to come aboard. And hopefully after the 26th, June 30th, 2026, he's willing to serve another term. So he's just finishing out a term of a vacated commissioner. So
Okay. Terrific. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Thank you, and thank you, Tim, for being willing to serve. We do appreciate that. We're fortunate in the city that we do have a lot of citizens that come forward and serve on a lot of committees and help things out for us, so. Moving on to new business, we are to receive a presentation by the Healthy Pine River Committee regarding the recent grant submissions to fund a mill pond impoundment dam feasibility study and recent river sample results. Looks like Mr. Chuck Sandro is here and going to take the lead on this one for us. So first, we'd like a motion to receive.
Support.
We have motion support. Mr. Sandro, would you please take it away?
Thank you. We'll try and keep this short and succinct. First of all, thank you for allowing me to make a few comments. On the back of the cheat sheet that's in front of you, is actually the motivation. And we're asking Eric and the city, obviously City Commission as well, to join us on our September 12th membership meeting, which we hope to do a cookout at Pine River Park to draw kind of attention to the park system that adjoins the impoundment and the river channel, and actually to cover a number of things that we've been working on research-wise regarding the impoundment and the State Street Dam. So thank you for letting me be here. Thank you for your past support and funding support as well. We know there's still 3 fundamental things wrong with Pine River. And I'm going to be forwarding to Eric tonight Dr. Burrell's summer water testing protocols to this point in time. They don't usually finish until September, usually with a presentation in October. However, we've asked them to move that up a little bit, so you're going to see a memo that will come through Eric sharing what's going on right now, where they're testing. I will share with you that we're testing all the way from the headwaters of the Pine River in Mecosta County all the way down to the St. Louis impoundment. And we're testing Luniak Park, obviously Pine River Park, Conservation Park. So we're working diligently at having data for you and for us to know what is the health of the river, within the city's boundaries. And I wish I could share good news to you. Unfortunately, it's not good news, but you'll be able to read that. 3 things. We know the river is contaminated, heavily contaminated, all the way from the headwaters through the 4 counties that it passes through. The second thing we know is that water recreation has diminished significantly over the last many years simply because of the human health hazard, and you're probably aware that Mid-Michigan District Health Department has placed signage at river access points showing that coming into contact with the river can be dangerous to one's health, okay? And the third thing that we're working on diligently is to try and understand the relationship between the State Street Dam and the Alma impoundment, or the Mill Pond, as has been known for many, many years. There's lots of guessing going on, but what we're trying to do literally is to develop expertise or to get expertise to weigh in on what happens when an impoundment continues to degrade over a period of time. And I think if you've had a chance to look at the impoundment here and more recently down in St. Louis and their impoundment, they both have digressed or regressed, particularly in areas of algal blooms and heavy vegetation, etc. So we're concerned about that. What are we doing about it? Well, as Healthy Pine River funds the summer water testing program that Dr. Burrell conducts through Alma College using state protocol. So that's good news. You're going to hear the results of that. You'll see some of the preliminary results of that in the memo that's coming out within a day. Secondly, we have applied for 3 grants through EAGLE on behalf of both the city, Healthy Pine River, and the folks that we work collaboratively with, like the Greater Gratiot Development, the Chamber, obviously the City of Alma. Triterra has been one of our lead consultants, etc. So we're working diligently in the areas of trying to, in this grant I'm speaking to first, is the Environmental Justice Impact Grant. Because Alma has what we call QCTs, neighborhoods, quality census tract neighborhoods that are impoverished to some degree or for a variety of criteria, then we are allowed to participate in this grant application. This grant that we have recently written is a $248,000 grant. It deals with 3 fundamental things. First and foremost, a pre-engineering feasibility study on what is likely to happen or what are the viable options with the impoundment and restoring the impoundment or restoring the river channel, possibly looking at how we deal effectively with the dam. Secondly, it's looking at our very real concerns regarding water recreation and the human health issues. And that's very much designed into the grant as well. And the third is an area that Morgan and Eric and Dave have helped us with better understand. The city has 5 city parks that are adjacent to the impoundment and river channel, other than Holiday Park is just a block off. So how does the impoundment and the river channel and its degradation, how is that impacting the usage of the parks? And we don't know that, so we've made some educated guesses, but we want to do some research in that area to see if we can look at ways that maybe we can build that participation. For this fundamental reason: one, you've spent years investing in maintaining quality parks. The neighborhoods nearest those parks are QCT neighborhoods. They need low-cost recreation. And so it's important, it's imperative that we make those parks attractive and available, and you've done that. Now we got to see if the river is having some kind of adverse effect on that circumstance, okay? We also wrote and it's called a Justice 40 Accelerator Grant, also dealing with environmental justice. And that is, the purpose for submitting that grant is that you work with the feds for a year. And within the scope of that year, you have to submit a federal grant to the federal government. And we see that as a real opportunity, that if in fact we find some issues that the feds could help us with, such as U.S. wildlife, things like that, where we could receive funding to move forward in how best to tackle the impoundment and the river, the contamination, etc., then that would be very valuable to us. The third grant that we have submitted just an application for, because they really have not given bona fide dollar amounts to it, is called a Community Change Grant, and you only may access this grant if, again, you are an environmental justice community with QCTs, these quality census tracts. Both Alma and St. Louis are the only 2 communities in the 4-county Upper Pine River watershed that qualify for this opportunity. So we thought it was important to take advantage of that by submitting the grants. I want to say thank you publicly to Eric and Dave and Morgan for their assistance in helping us understand the city's circumstances. We have asked them to help us understand, for example, you have a non-functioning dam, or we have a non-functioning dam, that by hazard protocol says it's a significant hazard, although that's not anything like what's happened to the north of us at Sanford and Seaport, et cetera, or the Edenville dams. But it's still important to know that it's a significant hazard. And the DNR has been on record now for many years saying that they want to look at removing non-functioning dams. This is a non-functioning dam. So how do we deal with that? What is, and how do you, as a city commission, deal with the costs that are going to be projected to maintain the required safety standards that the state will demand? They every 2 years they're going to take a look at it, and they're going to tell you what you need to do to maintain the upkeep of that dam. So does that become prohibitive? Are there funds out there that assist that circumstance? Not to our knowledge. The second, one of the other things we looked at is the brownfield properties. We worked with Jim Wheeler, Casey Zahner with Great Ration Development, and talking about what's the likelihood of redeveloping the brownfield properties that the city has been diligent about remediating, and it sits vacant. It's a terrific location. How do we take advantage of that? And Jim's been very candid in saying that if nothing happens to improve the impoundment, that property's not going to sell. It's not going to be developed. So, those are some of the things we're working on. I will share with you also that we're looking at a second time at the Bar Engineering study that we commissioned in 2016 that said sediment levels in the impoundment are 2 to 6 feet deep, and there's 439,000 cubic yards of sediment that will cost approximately, back in 2017, $23 million to remove. So we've worked with dam specialists and talked about what do you do with the sediment? If we were to restore the impoundment, what does that require of us? And that's why we're looking so hard at these dam feasibility studies that are designed and moved forward by engineering firms, specialists in those areas. The last thing I would share with you is that I hope that you will appreciate the continued collaboration we're doing throughout the watershed, but also with our community. We have done, in 2023, the last fall, we commissioned social surveying through Elma College to interview residents on the impoundment to get a feel for how they were feeling about the condition of the impoundment over time. And we learned two things, and Dr. Ben Peterson oversaw this social surveying project, and he said, we learned two things. One, people know there's something wrong. Two, they don't know what's wrong. They just don't know the scope. That's our failure. That's Healthy Pine River's failure. We've not done a strong enough job or a solid enough job in informing our public. So we envision sometime in the future having to utilize community conversations. And that's really what the membership meeting in September, recognizing the city and these dynamics is about, is to begin the process of a community conversation, trying to put forward some of the issues and how do we deal with those issues, and simply listening to people. So I hope you'll join us. I can share with you that there will be sliders and hot dogs, just really high quality protein, and it'll be a good time, and it'll be a very, I think, worthwhile conversation. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I entertain any questions you have, and you can see the scope of there's a general first draft of the meeting is on the back side of your cheat sheet, so. Any questions? Yes.
Chuck, people have asked me this question before and I don't know the answer to it. Looking at the map here, the dam goes away and the Pine River Mill Pond now goes back to the width of the rest of the Pine River going up here, okay? Going up to St. Louis. All of the property that's on that is now backed up to the river now has an extra 50 feet of lawn to cut, right? Because they're going to a 30-foot wide river instead of a 200-foot wide river. All the way over in Arcata, Willow Bend, where those finger lakes or finger rivers are coming up, those people no longer have riverfront property because that's going to disappear completely, right? Those trenches that are cut up by Willow Bend, they will go away. What happens? How do we deal with that?
Thank you. Eric was part of a conversation roughly not quite a year ago, but we brought a gentleman from Stantec Engineering out of Ann Arbor. And this is when we were actually writing the first dam risk and reduction grant. What he shared with us is that if it were to behoove the city to look at partial or full removal of the dam, it doesn't necessarily mean that you gain lots of property or that the 200-foot wide mill pond now becomes a 30-foot wide river. We visited, Lynn and I have visited a number of communities that have removed dams, and more recently, Eaton Rapids, we've been down to Chesaning and to Williamston. A lot of times what they do is they take where the dam leaves and they back build the channel so that it really doesn't diminish your property. And we were very candid with Rex. If that were to be one of the viable options of others as well, how do we protect residents on the impoundment? How do we protect the Sandros who live above the impoundment but are on Honeyway Creek and have property on the river? So it is not necessarily a a significant change, which I thought interesting. The impoundment would be narrower, but they believe they can do such a job in primarily with boulders and wares, etc. And that's the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Okay.
So it's, Roger, it is the fundamental concern of everybody that does any impoundment. Clearly.
Sure.
Number two, is there a potential solution out there in how they design the recreation of the river channel? And the answer to that, according to Rex, is
There are.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
you're
And
welcome.
they have, I mean, I've been to a few cities visited that gone through the process, and they turn out very nice. I mean, they make some nice property out of it. And it actually, I think, it vastly improves, and certainly compared to what we have now, it vastly improves the property value. Because right now.
Yeah, it really has no value. No.
What they're on is
It's
sewer.
not pretty, right.
Yeah, it's not an attractive asset right now, so.
I've had one.
Turning it into a more of a linear park type situation.
Yeah, well, you know, the old days of the speedboats or the pontoons might not be in the future. I don't know that answer. But fishing, kayaking, canoeing, other things like that. I've even seen them develop two channels. They've actually created islands and have a fast channel and a slower channel. They've done a variety of things that are very interesting. And Greg, I think you bring up a very interesting point. Someone out there is going to say, my property values are being diminished by this impoundment. Who's accountable for that? You know, and so we're trying to stay ahead of that and to be as
But maybe the property values will be augmented if it turns out to be a nicer situation.
Oh, yeah.
I would agree.
Then what
Right
they
now,
look
what's
at now.
happening is this shallowing. We have asked Triterra to do a second sediment study. The one done in 2016 is now 8 years old. There's a great likelihood, and you're seeing more lily pads, more algal blooms, particularly going upriver. When you can't, of course, you can't cross Eli Highway Bridge right now, but that whole area is shallowing out phenomenally. So, and we've also, I haven't shared this, but we are working closely with the Drain Commissioner to work on opening up Honeyway Creek and trying to restore flow to Drain 96, which is also creating a lot of the sediment drops. So lots of things that we're juggling, and we just hope we're doing it in the right
There's
way.
a
So,
lot of moving parts to this.
yeah, very much.
Yeah.
And that's why the feasibility study will be important, just to give you options. Plus, from our side, the city side of things, we have an intake, you know, for our water plant. We don't use it currently, but that's one thing that we need to take into account when we're looking at the feasibility
have
is our
spoken to the-
intake. So lots discussed, and it's like, I think what Chuck's trying to get across is with the community conversations are going to be happening, because that's part of this process of developing that. And the feasibility study won't just come in and say, this is the answer. It'll give us options to look at as a community to
That's the-
work what we want to do.
Good.
So.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate the work of the group. Okay. Any other comments or questions? If we have a motion on the table, all those in favor of receiving this report, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. We've received the report. Thank you. See, appropriations. Is there anyone in favor of paying the bills tonight?
Yes, please pay the appropriate.
We have motion support. Are there any comments or questions on the aforementioned bills? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. Motion is carried and bills are paid. Commissioner comments. Lori, would you like to lead off tonight?
Well, this weekend is Elm Alive, correct?
Correct.
So hope everybody comes downtown. It's always a good time. And we finished the Summer Youth Workshop program. The kids did a great job, and thanks to everybody that came out and supported that.
And that was at the Strand, right?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Lori. Michelle?
I'm alive. I hope everybody comes out. And the evening in the parks have been a great success. They're very nice to enjoy. And then just our thoughts and prayers to one of the owners of Avalon, Pete Sable, passed away. So our thoughts and prayers go out to his family.
Andrew?
nothing really to add, but yeah, I hope everyone gets out to see the dueling pianos and all the events this weekend. It should be fun downtown, and congratulations to the players on another great summer workshop, and thank you to everybody involved in that. Tom and Kate Glover, I know they give their whole summer to that, along with Georgia Guyette and many others involved, including Roger. So I just appreciate everybody and everything they do for the kids there.
Roxanne?
Alma Public Schools has open house tomorrow, and school starts next Tuesday, the 20th. Yikes.
That's frightening, but
Agreed.
particularly for you and your friends out in school. Danny?
Nothing else to add.
Roger?
I believe, along with Alma Live this weekend, the fire department parade is at 11 o'clock on Saturday.
Is that
Friday night is the lighted parade
Okay.
around dusk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Friday night, that's right, Friday night. And so,
And Saturday from 11 to 4.
yeah, and Saturday, so, and then you can come and buy tickets for Lucky McDuck at me. We got blown away last Saturday, literally blown away. We had to leave. I was holding my tent down. On my way here tonight, I made a much safer left turn from Harvard onto Superior. The parking place has been removed and white striped, and sign in, no parking here at the corner, and all that kind of thing. And I thank the commission for that.
Sarah?
Oh, no, good. Thank you.
I don't have anything else to add, other than thanks, Tim. Appreciate you coming tonight, and appreciate your willingness to serve, along with everybody else. Certainly appreciate, Chuck, all the work that's going on with you and Dr. Borello and the whole gang. Very supportive. I think I'm going to be out of town that night, so I'm going to miss it, but I apologize for that. But I certainly do and will consider myself to continue to be a part of your group, even just a small part as a member. So thank you for that, all your work. With that, we'll entertain, we'll open it up for comments from the public. If anyone from the public would like to address the commission, please go to the podium, state your name and address, and you have up to 5 minutes to share your thoughts with the commission. Who would like to go first? Don't everybody run at once. Jane? No?
Well, I have
Nothing?
nothing.
Okay.
No comment?
All right. Well, I guess we can entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting this evening then.
Support.
We got lots of motions, lots of support. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. You're adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great and safe evening. Thank you.